You might have glimpsed recently in the media, very fleetingly, as they had to report on the much more important. Recapping tonight's top story, this cow is really big. Look at that. The ABC News has turned into $1 billion a year of a kid pointing out things on the way to a holiday house. But in between minute to minute, very French surrealist updates on, is this in fact a cow? They were somewhat reporting on the Australian workforce becoming more and more casualised. Through the usual frame of, unions are saying that casualised work is on the rise. Yeah, but by casual we mean... No, you used the word casual, that's not a misquote. My cut frame of debate said, Liberal Minister for Employment prepared to win completely skewed argument in 3, 2... Unions are lying, casual employment's remained consistent for the last 20 years.
Why James crying? Cause he just got knocked down. I ain't even lying, yo, he just got knocked down.
Sure, casual jobs by the traditional, completely redundant in the modern world sense of kids that work at Supre is not on the rise. How could it be? When all the youth is spending their money on us! Please make that your slogan. Look good, spend all your money on us. However, a much more accurate indicator of the workforce is how many Australians have insecure work, and that's higher than a giraffe whose stoner buddy is Michael Phelps. Oh shit, that's my house. My house is on TV. The Minister for Jobs may harp on that the Liberals have created 1 million jobs. But just like in Austin Powers, that figure deserves to be laughed at. 1 million jobs over 5 years has nothing to do with the government of the day. It would have happened if the Prime Minister was Harold from Neighbours, which it basically is. That is the normal rate of job growth when you factor in Australia's population growth. So they might as well have been bragging that under a Liberal government, 1 million Australians have learned to put on their shoes. Why do the Liberals choose to focus on a point that is not of their making when they have so many achievements in the field of employment that are of their making? Underemployment, that's people who are working but want to work more hours. That's jumped 1.5% under the Liberals to its all-time high of 9%. Yet how often do they tout that under their governorship, 1 in 10 Australians can't find enough work to live off? What are they scared of? It's not like the ABC reporter's going to say anything other than, too much of a little bitch to say anything about that. And speaking of little bitches, this is a very small dog. Someone should put that next to the big cow for context. And seeing as the ABC is so infatuated with things that are big, why did they have a report that under the Liberals, 1/3 of the Australian workforce is now employed part-time? In the words of a grouchy Italian-American bartender,
You heard me.
1/3 of Australians are attempting to purchase a house and raise a family on 3 shifts a week at Chemist Warehouse. And while I appreciate the Liberals' tireless efforts in making sure that everyone in the country has access to Gina Liano's fragrance, 100% on board with that. It's a human right to smell fearless, but... #humble. I don't know how they stopped themselves from boasting about their most awe-inspiring accomplishment, which is that, for the first time in history, another record breaker, less than half the Australian workforce has a full-time job. I mean, if I was Scott Morrison, I'd be on every news outlet in the country spruiking, under my leadership, people with a job are as endangered as most species in New South Wales. And I know, you know better, you've watched a TED Talk, you know we're all slowly being replaced with an arm until everyone up until the Prime Minister is a Coles checkout machine with a very disgruntled teenager in a hijab sporadically poking it, mumbling, jobs.
Oh, the doors get stuck on these.
No, it's doing exactly what Liberal Prime Ministers are paid to do. They say, jobs.
Australian jobs.
But it's not like the people who are currently underpaid and underemployed beat a robot in a job interview. The need for a human to currently occupy that position is as real as the rapper Plies, who according to his sophomore album is the definition of real. Well, slightly less real anyway, as in his third album he made it abundantly clear that he is in fact the realist. But based purely on the fact that a human currently occupies that position, the current workforce is not a result of automation, it's a result of exploitation. In a 2017 report, it was revealed that just 53% of workplaces were compliant with current workplace laws. That one stat alone disproves that stoner giraffe's answer to everything. Robots, man. It's because the Liberals are allowing widespread worker exploitation by filling the Fair Work Commission with that fat Cayman Islands banker from The Simpsons 15 times over, who are paid to turn a blind eye to employers breaking the law. Labor would not. Labor would fill the Fair Work Commission with people who are actually interested in fair work, to which those fat Cayman Island bankers collectively said,
oh crap.
Also, unlike the Libs, who have all but in name encouraged companies to import cheap foreign workers at the expense of Australian workers, the fine for doing that would increase from $10,800 per breach to... it hurts even saying this. $216,000 per breach. Ooh. That's going to make Japanese restaurant owners who employ Japanese backpackers at way below the minimum wage make that classic anime sound of ooh. This along with dozens of other initiatives that you yourself can look up, but out of the ones that I've named, can you see how Labour has what is very technically referred to in political science as a plan? Compare it to Dog Morrison's answer of, we're going to make the economy grow, and that growth will make more good jobs. Growth? The Australian economy's been growing for the last 30 years. How could Scott Morrison go on national television and declare that... Hang on. Is it? No. But... Is it possible that the Liberals don't actually give a shit about workers?
Whoever said sarcasm was the lowest form of weed is a party pooper. Make sure you press the like button.
Please share and comment below. Comment!
Australian jobs